friends and family.
It's all about sharing a feast and cheers.
It's always been happy cause the children are dear.
It's all about peace every time of the year.
If only I could see your face again, not behind the screen at the other end.
If only we could party, kick back your boots, just let me.
Wishing Christmas time, we'd be together.
It's all about the family. It's all about TNC. What? It's all about the family. Don't fret, don't sweat. You know what it is, cause you know and I know we'll be together again.
We'll go together to be together. It's Christmas time once again, and you know how we'll begin. Spread love and receive blessings from above.
If only I could see your face again, not behind the screen at the other end. If only we could party, kick back your boots, just let me.
Wishing Christmas time, we'd be together again.
Wishing Christmas time, we'd be together again.
The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. I'm Alpha Sanford and I'm streaming live from Boston, Massachusetts. Good morning, good evening, magandang umaga, mabuhay. You are watching Once a Teacher, Always a Teacher, Season 1, Episode 9. Good morning, everybody. Good evening to all of our viewers in the Philippines, here in the United States, and around the world. I can't believe it's 2022 already. I bet you missed me the last 2 weeks, right? But I gotta tell you, This is now a brand new year. And what a way to start this new year with once a teacher, always a teacher. Because for today's episode, I am more than privileged and very happy to bring to you one of my favorite artists of all time. He is a great friend and at the same time, a great Filipino who's actually based here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. If you truly get to know him, which I'd say you will by the end of this episode, you will certainly know who and what kind of an artist Bren Bataclan is all about. And later on, through his stories and his experiences, especially during the 2020 pandemic, I'd love for you to listen very carefully and take away from that wonderful story how the resiliency and how his attitude has taken him to a different level, being an artist, being an illustrator, and being an author. So, Bren Bataclan, our special guest for today, is a Filipino based here in Cambridge, Massachusetts, whose Smile Project has actually brought a different level of happiness, a different level of connection to the humanity ever since he started this little project way back in the early 2000s. But I am not going to give you everything all about him right now because in his TED Talk episode in Natick a few years ago, which I will be sharing with you very shortly, you will get to know more about him. So at this moment, for those of you who are watching right now, before we play the introduction, I want to just acknowledge you. And I want to acknowledge you because you chose to be with us this morning or this evening, whatever time zone you are. And let me just see who are with us this moment. All right, so Gonzalez Familara Judelin, good evening. Good evening. And for everyone who's watching, let's see who else is watching right here. Oh, my mom is watching from California. I know it's getting cold over there in California. So, Mama, hello, Happy New Year. Let's see, Shabnam, my good friend who was one of our guests a few weeks ago. Make sure that you check out her episode. Shabnam, good morning. Welcome back from Abu Dhabi. Can't wait to see you again. Let's see, Edita Rosia. Oh my gosh, from Poland. Edita, thank you for being with us. I'm so glad that you are with us this morning. Yes, and Gonzalez Familara Judeling, thank you from the Philippines. All right. For all of you who are with us this time, thank you again. I appreciate your time. And all right, you excited to get to know Bren? I'm sure you are. So, Derek, I would love for you to please start playing the TED Talk of Bren in Natick a few years ago. Let's get to know him.
I have a dream job. I make people smile. In 2003, while being a laid-off tech guy, I revisited my childhood friends. I decided to paint these characters that I've been drawing since I was a little kid back in the Philippines and exhibit them at an open studios. To my surprise, people liked them. They smiled, they laughed, and they bought paintings. I actually had a hard time sleeping after the open studios because I wanted to find the perfect way for thanking Boston for purchasing all of the artwork. And so at around 2 a.m., I committed to giving away paintings to show my gratitude to Boston and to spread smiles around the city. In the span of 2 weeks, 30 paintings were left on park benches, train stations, hospitals, senior centers, and other public spaces with this note attached. Oh, thank you. Wow. Below the note is my website, bataclan.com, my last name. This is how people are able to contact me. Nothing beats the smiles of people who find paintings. I recently painted murals in North Carolina and also gave away paintings there. These are pictures of people who found paintings in Raleigh. Here are photos of paintings being given away across the country. That was me at the post office in North Pole, Alaska. I heard that if you write a letter to Santa Claus, chances are your mail will end up here. I kind of believe it because when we walked in there are hundreds of letters from kids who wrote to Santa. Here are pictures of paintings being given away around the world. Before I show the next slide, I would just like to emphasize that that's the real Eiffel Tower in Paris, and this is the fake one in Vegas. Fake, real, fake. All right. Machu Picchu was incredible, but it was a bit of a challenge to leave paintings there because you're up 10,000 feet, hardly any oxygen. I had a hard time breathing. This was a little easier. The rice terraces in the Philippines, bit of a hike, more oxygen. Beautiful place. Family, friends, and clients also give away paintings. I'm a full-time artist, and I can't afford to go to all these places. I love this one. A client of mine went on a cruise to Antarctica, and she left a penguin painting for a whole bunch of penguins. Isn't that cool? Like literally cool. When paintings are given away in non-English-speaking countries, the text gets translated to the local language. Here's one in Tibet. So I receive messages from people who find paintings. Most are simple thank you notes. However, some come with photos of the painting recipients and their found art. This was from an Elvis impersonator from Australia who found a painting at Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. This is my other favorite. A bride-to-be found a painting in Harvard Square, and her family and friends, prior to her wedding, and her family and friends used the painting for her wedding cake, her wedding reception, and one of the bridesmaids even shrunk it and placed it in a Barbie box. Isn't that adorable? Just a few months after starting the street art project, I decided to give away paintings on a cold, gray, and icy February day in 2004 in Cambridge, where I live. I left a painting on a park bench, and immediately a young couple approached the bench. At first, I was concerned for the woman because she was wearing these neon pink shades with almost pitch black lenses. I was worried that she wouldn't see the ice and that she would slip. But fortunately, the couple didn't have a hard time picking up the painting, and they walked off happily with their found art. I didn't hear back from them until spring of that year. They sent a message saying that they would like to meet me. A few days later, I heard a knock on the door, and when I opened the door, guess what? She was still wearing the same exact shades. However, this time it was more appropriate. It was a nice, sunny spring day. She then hugged me, and then she removed her shades. I saw that a portion of her head was sort of caved in, the part that her shades were hiding. She told me that she and her husband found the painting during their first week of chemotherapy, and that it helped them deal with her illness and treatment. At this point, we were all crying. It was also then and there that I told myself that I will give away paintings no matter what. This is a still from a video message that this mom put together. The San Francisco Chronicle published a photo of her son picking up a painting at the BART station in San Francisco. Immediately after.
All right, folks. So there you go. That's our guest for today, Bren Bataclan. I'm sure you can catch the entire episode of the TED Talk that he did in Natick, Massachusetts, way back in 2017. So you want to see the real Bren Bataclan with us today? All right, Bren, come on in.
Hi, kamusta?
Hi, kamusta, Bren?
I first would like to congratulate you on your 9th episode, and I also loved your singing portion at the intro of this show. So, good job.
Thank you. I'm like laughing because, yeah, that was such an amazing project that the rest of the TNC put together. So thank you, Bren.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes, thanks. All right, so that was such an amazing TED Talks, really inspiring. And really, it always brings me some level of joy and the thought of smiling. So every time I feel like seeing you, or every time, I see you on Facebook, ooh, there's the smile that comes out. So how are you today, Brandon? In your favorite words, you always ask the same question. Kumusta ka? So on my end, let me ask you, kamusta ka, Bren?
Okay, I am doing great. As you know, both of us, we are buried in snow. And fortunately, we didn't really have to go anywhere yesterday. So it's a winter wonderland outside of our homes. It's really nice. And unlike last year at this point, during the lockdown, when I lost all of my art projects, I have mural projects and painting orders. So I can't complain. It's been great. It's like a night and day comparison from last year at this point versus now. But fortunately, last year I did have my book to focus on, so it was also good. But it's a huge change, and I'm really grateful for like what I have right now. So things are really good. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome, Bren. That's such amazing, things to hear from you. So we ended with that TED Talk introduction of Bren Bataclan with the words, since then, right, you have not stopped painting, or you have not stopped sharing your painting.
Yeah.
So is that still the case? And tell us what you've been up to. I thought I heard
Sure.
a few things, but please share to all of us.
Well, I am happy to say that next year, 2023, I can't believe it, it'll be the 20th anniversary of my painting giveaway project.
Oh my gosh!
20 years. So I haven't stopped. And so I've given away over 3,000 paintings in about 80 different countries. I have not been to all 80 countries. I have Smile ambassadors give away paintings for me. So when family, friends, and clients say that, oh, I am going to this destination, if I have not given a painting there, then like they will give away paintings for me. So I'm still giving away paintings. And so right now, since it's a challenge to travel internationally, most of my painting giveaways are when I travel for work. So I'm going to be in Idaho a few months from now to paint a mural. So I'm going to bring paintings with me, and I'll give away paintings there. Last October, I painted a mural in Commerce, Georgia. So I gave away paintings there. So right now, most of my paintings that I give away is through work. But here in Cambridge, where I live, and Boston, I also give away paintings a lot. So yeah, it has not ended.
Amazing, Bren.
Thank you.
3,000 paintings all across 80 countries.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Thanks.
the last big painting destination was like 3 years ago. We were in Estonia, Latvia, Finland, and Lithuania. So so paintings were given away there. And a few weeks prior to the lockdown in February 2020, we were in the Bahamas. And I remember we were hearing news about the possible life-changing lockdown, but I was giving away paintings in the Bahamas, and so like that was the last big painting destination, giveaway destination.
Wow. All right. So we've heard all of your wonderful smile projects, and then you have your commission paintings.
Yeah.
Folks of you who are watching right now, our house is actually filled of Bren Bataclan's commission paintings and also paintings of Miss Bidi Bernadette de los Santos. We love Bren's paintings because it just brings like cheeriness and all of the, you're like almost forced to smile and you have to be positive, right? So, and then you also have your school mural and obviously about your latest book, your book project, which is the Sanfe Memoir. Right. Yeah. Can you tell us about this book? And
Sure.
yeah, would love to know what's in this book.
Oh, pardon?
Would love to know what's in this book.
Sure. So I never expected to be published, or let alone write a book about my life. Well, mostly about my mom. Her name was Faye. So yeah, so it was. It's mostly about my experience with a very challenging mom. So for those of you who read it, you know me a lot more now. So it, like, I didn't expect to write about my mom, but since I didn't have any art projects during the lockdown, I was desperately trying to find something creative to do, because I've been telling folks, like, I had two choices back over a year ago. It was either being at the corner of our house fetal and crying because I didn't have any projects, or find something that I was really passionate about and create something. So having a book wasn't the first thing I had in mind, because I never thought I'd have a book. But my mom passed away in 2018, and she was such a big part of my life. And this is mostly even though it's honest, but it's like I needed to work a lot of things based on my experience with my mom. So it was all about love, and it manifested in the book. And I know I'll have about 15 minutes talking about how I was able to do this during the lockdown. So I will wait until that portion, because it's a long story. And yeah. So,
All right.
yeah.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is such an amazing book. And I think, as a Filipino mom, it makes me like, oh, geez, gotta make sure that check ourselves, right? Especially raising biracial daughter. We gotta make sure that we're looking at it from the kindness perspective.
Yes.
So speaking of that, Brian, about kindness, right? We have teachers around the world watching right now. As I mentioned earlier, we've got teachers from Poland, now Bangladesh, Asia, the Philippines. Oh my goodness, we're all over, from Pasay City, everywhere, right? So during this time, when because of the pandemic and the factors that was brought to because of the pandemic, our teachers, our educators and school leaders are really feeling a level of anxiety. And at times, a few of them are challenged when it comes to their social emotional regulation, as well as their mental health. So what do you think can we connect from your Smile Project and your philosophy of kindness to what's going on around us?
Wow. I first would like to say that I was also a teacher. So I moved here in Massachusetts in 1995 to teach at UMass Amherst. So I taught computer animation and graphic design. So hello, teachers. So,
Yay, hello.
And I'm also really impressed with our audience right now from like all over the world. So I would like to give a shout out to Lorraine Leo. So one of her friends from Bangladesh, I'm reading it right now. So she recommended your show, Alpha. So this is really neat. So Lorraine used to teach at a school in Newton, and she was one of the first folks who hired me to paint a mural. So I just want to confirm, is this my 20 minutes of talking about?
Oh, you can
Not
sure.
yet.
Yeah, no, you can talk, share whatever you want to share, Bren.
Okay, so like in terms of mental health, it like I actually started this like smile project when I was unemployed 22 years ago, so in 2000. So after I taught at the college over here in Massachusetts, I joined the dot-com world, and it was great for 2 to 3 years. I had money, stocks. It was wonderful. I was being flown from here to like London a lot to work, and I remember New Year's Eve in 1999. My stocks were enough to like buy a house in San Francisco. So I grew up in San Francisco. It was so great. And by the summer of that year, my stocks fell to 50 cents.
No.
So like from all that money to nightmare. So I became one of those unemployed former dot-commers without a job. And so in like early 2000s, there was an oversaturation of folks with my background, and I couldn't find a job. And so for a couple of years, I was struggling to like earn a living. So this is very similar to like what happened to me 20 years during the lockdown. That's why I'm pointing this out. So like in terms of mental health, I guess I was able to muster enough positive energy and just positiveness to like paint these happy characters. So like to like give you a background, I've been drawing. I brought here. So here's one of the paintings that I give away, and this is probably my most known character, and it was inspired because one of the first places where I have exhibited my work was at MIT. So this sort of has the MIT dome and the twirly hat, but. So I grew up in the Philippines in the 70s, and I watch a lot of giant anime robot like shows like Voltus 5 and Mazinger Z. So my work is heavily like inspired by anime, like from the 70s. And so in 2003, in the height of my unemploymentness, I painted these characters I've been drawing since I was a little kid. And I had an exhibit there in our tiny extra room where that Filipino flag is. And since I had all the time in the world, I painted 56 of them, and 49 sold in 2 days. And so to boss him back, I gave away these paintings with a note that said, "This painting is yours if you promise to smile at random people more often." So here is where the school aspect started. So in early 2000s, Massachusetts started to do a lot of anti-bullying work, and schools started to ask me to give presentations about anti-bullying. And I warned them, like, I wasn't an expert. You know, I told them this is not my specialty. But then the schools actually said, "Well, we like your approach more because you actually don't say anti-bullying." So it's all about kindness and spreading smiles. So little by little, I transitioned from being, you know, like a college professor to the dot-com to working with schools. And I remember there was a math teacher, and he's now a principal, and he was the first one that asked me, "Bren, have you painted a mural before?" So I knew that how can you gain experience if you actually have not done it? So I said yes. And I was really nervous because I wasn't fully honest because I had painted a mural in high school, but not professionally. But then I said yes, and I painted that mural. And since then, I painted, I think, 300 murals now. So, like, again, because of the kindness aspect of this, it has led to, you know, jobs like this. And then hospitals started to hire me, and also businesses. And so it's been great. And that TED Talk, it lasts for about 10 minutes. That's
Mhm.
probably one of the scariest things I've done in my life. There were like hundreds of people watching, and in a nutshell, they told you that, Bren, um, it doesn't matter if it comes out, amazing or not, it'll be there forever. So it was a big risk to do that because it was either I was going to get more jobs or no jobs.
Mhm.
So I'm just throwing it out there that take a risk, because chances are it'll be worth it. So that was really, really scary. Um, so
Wow.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so, like, in terms of kindness
Mhm.
and then as you said, the commissions making you happy. So um, just now I finished painting a cat burrito.
Oh, what is that? Tell us
So
all about it. Why is
yeah.
it burrito?
So I just painted a mural in Franklin, Massachusetts. And when I visit schools, I show kids how to draw my characters. And actually, all of the murals that I paint are based on their creations. So my characters are really easy to mimic or copy. So kids feel empowered to like create their own. And so one of the students there asked me to draw a hybrid of a cat and a burrito. So a big portion of my drawing sessions are I show kids how to like do a mashup of an animal and a snack. And so he asked me to like draw a burrito and a cat. And so his mom found out about this, and so she asked me to like paint it for a late Christmas gift. So Alpha, I'm so honored to have my artwork displayed in your home. And then you say that each time you see them, they make you smile. If they make you happy, then it's like they're doing their job. And so um, it has taken me a while because my background's actually not in painting; it's in computer graphics. But it's the kind, as cliched as it may sound, I really wake up and I pinch myself saying, wow, this is my job. I actually I love painting murals and I love painting these characters. And as a former designer, um, it like I can't believe that I actually did that because clients are never happy with the logo. They're never happy with like a book or pen, but with paintings, you are sort of given like this free range to like create whatever you'd like. So it's like a dream job because they like trust me to like create their requests, and I paint a lot of family portraits.
Mhm.
Like I'm actually in the midst of like six, like a lot, and so that's highly personal. Like it's like they trust you to like render them. And if you look at my paintings, I don't paint noses. It's
Oh, yes,
so
that's
yeah,
right.
it's just like yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, there are no noses, and like they don't mind. So it's just sort of like it's just like again this amazing trust that
Uh-huh.
they give to artists versus designers. So
Mhm.
yeah. Oh wow. Lorraine is here, my friend who's a teacher here.
Yes.
I am just saying hi. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Lorraine.
Well, it's like I can go on and on, but I hope this
No,
answers your question.
it's amazing, Bren, because yeah, your friend Lorraine Leo. Thank you, Lorraine, for joining us. And also we have Irene Confalone from Italy.
From
Thank you for
Italy.
joining us.
Wow. I'm good.
So,
Wow.
Bren,
Hmm.
imagine if you can also spread the happiness and the kindness to not just the schools here in Massachusetts, but around the world, because we have had experiences with you in our school system. In
Yeah.
fact, there are already two of our schools in our school
Thank you
district
very much.
that we have your murals.
Yeah.
And I love how you actually engage the students in terms of their art, and then you use those artistic or their artwork as part of your end product, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool, right? So anyway, you did mention also in terms of the murals and also our murals, I'm sorry, not murals, our commissioned paintings here. And I did remember one of the commission painting that we have is the word one, and it kind of like signifies um, our like philosophy altogether. Like it represents my name. There's this dragonfly and things like that that always reminds me and my husband in terms of nature. And also there's this little star that also is symbolical of the name of our daughter Tala. And I can go on and on in terms of the wonderful works that you've done. But more recently, I am really, really so amazed with this book. And I know previously you've mentioned about, and you just did also mention in terms of the background of this book. So tell us more in terms of this.
Okay, sure. So wow. Okay, here we go. We're going to go in a deep dive into
Yes.
the book. So like again, it's an unexpected project. So if you'd asked me 2 years ago if I would ever do like a memoir, I would have laughed. So it all started in 2018, like prior to my mom passing away. I had an exhibit about my immigration experience from the Philippines to Daly City, California, at the Pow Art Center in Boston. So it highlighted all, like pretty much when I moved here, when I just turned 12 in like 1981 to present, but it mostly focused on my childhood in the Bay Area in California. Mm-hmm. So one of our author friends nudged me and said, "Hey, Bren, you should have a graphic novel about your immigration experience." So I just laughed and I said, "No way! I'm not a writer. I've never done comment, So she planted that seed. Her name is Grace Talusan, and she's she's incredible. Read her book, The Body Papers, a little plug. And and I'm also part of a Filipino American book club, and this is our 15th year of our meeting. So
awesome.
Yeah. So fast forward to 2000 in the lockdown, and I recalled Grace's suggestion. So I also we also promised ourselves that we would clean our basement during the lockdown. And I found an old sketchbook of mine, from years ago. So that was a catalyst of okay, start this. And since I have a computer animation background, I used our kitchen as my command center, and I used a whole bunch of Post-its, and I just mapped out the book. And with the help of relatives, especially my cousins, the book happened. And so, and it was hard. I had many sleepless nights because I didn't want to be disowned by my family. I'm really close to my ate and kuya, that is sister and brother. And because I was airing dirty laundry about my family. My mom was a really loving but challenging person, and she also became a hoarder. And so it's just, and so that was what I was sharing, along with the my immigration experience as well. So I have woven it there, and another part that was not easy is having your book published. And so after I had a rough version of this book, I had it printed, and I printed a handful of them, and I started to send them out. And I got maybe 20 rejections. It was heartbreaking because I was already unemployed and I kept getting rejected, but there were glimmers of hope. One of my favorite authors, David Sedaris, I looked up his background info, and one of his agents, she her name to me sounded Pinay, Filipino. So I sent a copy of my book, and I guess she forwarded it to David Sedaris. Then he wrote me this really nice, encouraging postcard. So I said, okay, I think it's going to happen. And how the book happened was that I worked with the Pistahan Festival in San Francisco.
Okay.
And one of the guys who was running it, he is a board member of PAWA. So PAWA is a publishing firm in San Francisco, and it's Pinoy Pinay run. And I sent him a copy of a rough version of my book, and he presented it to the board, and they said yes. And they also took a big risk, because if you look in the back of my book, most of the books they have published are mostly academic. And so they took a big risk and they published my book. So in a nutshell, the Filipino-American community made this happen. So because I'm part of a Filipino-American book club, I know a lot of artists, and they just encouraged me. And because I've been working with the Filipino American community here, I was able to connect with a Filipino publishing firm, and then it happened. It was so amazing. So so in the height of me just being unemployed, being rejected left and right, the Pinoy community made this happen. So don't give up. Like, I never thought I would be published. Oh, and in its tiny little universe, it has all these successes. So there's a Filipino-owned bookstore in California called Belcanto Books, and they sold like 100 copies of my book. And I never thought that my book will, let alone be published, but it was on her number one best-selling for months. And she just posted the top 10 books that sold last year, and then Faye was number 3. And even around here, the Harvard bookstore, it was on their best-selling list a couple of times. So I still can't believe it. Oh, and lastly, NPR, All Things Considered, featured it last summer. So one of the authors who helped make this happen, her name is Malaka Garid. So read her book. She's half Pinay and half Egyptian, and her book is doing really, really well. But so she was asked to like recommend a book during for like AAPI week, for Asian American week, and out of all the books, she like recommended my book. So like, again, like, I can't overemphasize the help and the love that I've been receiving through the Filipino American community. Again, I can go on and on.
I know, but it's amazing, Bren. And just for that particular time period that you shared, the evolution of your book, I can take a lot of like good even strategies. I heard risk. I heard about don't give up. The resiliency that, okay, you have the choice, right? You have the choice of whether you're going to be in a fetal position in a corner of your house or do something. What you did was, okay, I got to do something. But why don't we take a break? And then I want all our viewers right now to just marinate on what Bren had mentioned to you, the story of his new book, Fair, and all of the things that he shared with you around kindness and his Smile Project. All right, folks, we'll see you in a bit. All right. is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all of our shows as seen on this screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our vision is to become a global 24/7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Please continue to watch and support Once a Teacher, Always a Teacher on selected Saturdays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in the Philippines, right now, it's about 11:30 p.m. You can watch live or on replay via Facebook or YouTube. You can also follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Simply search hashtag TNCNow. And for sponsorships, please email now@thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. Enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them for you. All right, folks, welcome back. I want to bring back in our wonderful guest for today, Bren Bataclan.
Hello. I just also would like to say TNC's graphics and branding is so strong. It's just really nice. As a former graphic designer, I just want to give a nice compliment because it's really impressive.
Wow. Good job, executive producer, Apple Manansala, and all of the graphic designers, and of course, our directors behind scene. Thank you for that.
So
thanks, Bren. Yeah, thank you. So, Bren, during that break, you know what I did? I just ran very quickly to our office. And in our office, if you can see, I probably will take a picture later. It's mostly a lot of your paintings. And one of those paintings, you put everything will be all right.
Yeah.
And I believe that was during the 2008 economic crisis, 2008, 2010 economic crisis, right?
Yeah.
And then the other commission painting that you did for us was the one when I went to a different school district, and I wanted to be reminded of being together. And in that commission painting that you did, you put "Together We Can."
Yeah.
So based from all of the things that you shared and what's going on, I think it's important for our teachers and our viewers to say everything is going to be all right. But I want to hear from you. What are some of the other things as an artist, as an educator, can you also share to our viewers?
Yeah, so I can't believe that was 2008. That was so
I know.
So that was a particularly challenging time because I remember Circuit City closing down. It was really frightening because there were just certain stores that I thought that would be around forever. So it seems like the whole economy was crashing. So there's also a painting behind me. I'm just gonna stand up.
Yes, please do.
It's right here. It's hard to see. It's this one behind me. So that is from a series of paintings called Baha, which means flood in Tagalog or in Filipino. So I'm pointing these two series of work because most of the time I ask myself, what can a Filipino American artist do in Boston to help out? So in 2008, I gave away paintings with a note that says everything will be all right because folks were losing their jobs, their homes, their retirement plan. So again, I asked myself, what can someone like me as an artist do? And in 2010, when the Philippines started to experience superstorms because of global warming, that was heartbreaking because I remember Brian Williams on the news said the Philippines is about to experience the worst storm in recorded history. I mean, how can you imagine what can 100 million folks in the Philippines do about that? So like I asked myself, like, what can I do here in Massachusetts? So I started to look at news clips, videos of Filipinos being resilient.
Yeah.
And also we have this capability, no matter how horrible the situation is, we can have fun. Like I remember seeing photos of folks getting married, they're like waist deep in flood. And so we just make the most out of it. So I had a series of paintings based on the Baha,
Mhm.
and and I raised $5,000 and I donated that to the Philippine Red Cross. And so out of feeling despair and hopelessness through art, I was able to help out. And so that's really important to me as an artist. So it's not just me painting cute characters. So like I constantly ask myself, what can I do
Mhm.
to like make the world a better place?
I love it. And I feel like that's the reason why I keep on like being inspired about you and all the work that you do, Brand, because you're always out there trying to use your talent, trying to use your skills to make this world a better place. And not only that, to help our Filipinos, our kababayans who are here and also in the Philippines. So amazing.
Yeah, and recently, because I'm bringing this up because one of the paintings you asked me to paint is a sari manok, and yours is
Yeah.
very, very unique. So one thing I love about commissions is that most of them are one of a kind, like your paintings. So last this fall, I was asked to have an exhibit for Philippine American History Month, which was
Mhm.
such a big honor. So I featured Sari Manok and also um, paintings from my immigration story exhibit. And being at the hospital, there are lots of Filipino nurses and doctors. It was such an amazing experience because we were being seen and heard through the Sari Manok and my immigration paintings. But like again, that is a way for us to like promote ourselves here in Boston. So yeah.
Way to go, Bren. I am so proud of the work that you do, not just as an artist, but also amplifying the narratives of Filipinos and Filipino Americans here in New England. So amazing. So we're coming to close to the end of our show, but do you have any last, maybe inspiring story that you can share to everybody right now, especially to our educators? And maybe like some sort of like takeaway that you can share with them.
Yeah, sure. So, like, I have been painting murals in Raleigh, North Carolina for over a decade. And a couple of years ago, they experienced flooding, Baha.
Mhm.
And so I gave away paintings there. And someone whose sister's house was her hometown was flooded like severely. It was awful. So she found a painting of mine and she thanked me and we like became friends. And
Mhm.
the following year I painted a mural there and it turned out she lived in a penthouse in downtown Raleigh, and she said, "Hey, she and her husband gave me keys to like her place, and I stayed there for a whole entire week, almost complete strangers." And so it's this trust, and it's all because of sharing kindness and love. And so I'm bringing this up because of these paintings. I
Mhm.
met you, Alpha, because we had, we met in 2005 because
Yes.
art brought us here. And so that is what I'm trying to say. It's like just follow your passion, and who knows, it can lead to a full-time job being a painter and eventually, unexpectedly, an author. I don't know where this is going. I only have one book, but again, in its tiny little universe, I've been really happy with its success. It's on its third printing, so we like don't
Wow.
print a whole lot, but it just keeps meeting its expectations. So you just never know. And I love my job too. I absolutely love
Yes.
painting murals, working with students, and make lots of amazing friends. So, salamat.
Yeah, thank you. What an amazing story, though. And you just brought me back to one of the last book that I read. I'm forgetting the name of the author, but it's really about flow and
Mm,
trust.
yeah.
That sometimes, if you are not open to trusting what the universe is going to give you, you may miss all these wonderful blessings. And you just shared that because, you put something good out in the world, you were trusted to use this penthouse. And I'm
Yeah,
going to take that, Brent. I am going to take that with me today. So, and where can we find and where can we buy
sure.
this book?
Fair.
And if people wanted to have a school mural
Yeah.
or also commission painting, can you tell us where they can find you?
Sure. Well, maraming salamat for giving me a chance to shout out my social media stuff. So
Of
the
course.
best way is to go to my website, www.bataclan.com, or in the United States, Bataclan.com. They have a hard time saying Bataclan.com. So it's B as in boy, A, T as in Tom, A, CLAN.com. And my publisher, Pawa, they have created a website for this. It's called FE, F-E, memoir, memoir.com. And I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, which I believe will be typed down there. So that's where you can find me. Oh, and if you're ever in Boston, I would like for you to visit me at my studio in the South End. I've been there for over 10 years. I love my space, so please visit me.
Wow, great opportunities, folks. So, Filipinos who's going to be here in Boston, make sure that you take up that offer, okay?
Yeah.
All right. And Bren, thank you so much. Maraming salamat. I know that you have a lot of great projects upcoming, and I wish you more and more projects like this and more murals and paintings this 2022. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Dan. And Alpha, I'm also so proud of you. I love what you do. And I also would like to say thank you to all teachers. I am married to one, and he's about to retire. So, and he also helped make this happen. So, salamat to all the teachers. And thank you, Alpha. So, this has been so much fun.
You're welcome, Bren. I'll see you around.
See ya.
See ya. All right, folks. That ends our episode with Bren Bataclan. I will be sharing with you later on the full TEDx talk of Bren Bataclan in Natick, Massachusetts. And I will also be sharing with you a picture of our office here in our house and share with you all of the wonderful paintings that Bren has done for us. Wow, what an amazing and inspirational conversation with Bren. I take away that feeling of trust, that feeling of flow, the resilience of peace. And during this uncertainty times, just like what Brent painted in about 2008, when he wrote, "Everything will be all right," it will be all right. With that said, thank you, everybody, to all of our viewers around the world. Thank you, and I'll see you again next week, same time and same channel. Alrighty, bye for now.